What's going on, guys? MMuniz here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to discuss how to grow a $1 million investment account tax-free. I'm talking about when you're putting money in, you're not paying taxes. When it's growing, you're not paying taxes. And even when you go to withdraw that money later on in life, you're not going to pay taxes. Now, more specifically, I'm talking about a health savings account. I believe that an HSA is the most powerful tool when it comes to investing in your future or saving for retirement. Now, it's pretty crazy to think about, but less than 10% of people that have an HSA actually take advantage of it in the way that we're going to talk about in this video. So I'm going to give you 5 tips when it comes to an HSA, or 5 benefits of the HSA. And after that, I'm going to go over some frequently asked questions. And then the last thing I'm going to go over is just 2 quick little pro tips when it comes to an HSA. Now, I'm going to be honest, when you're stockpiling money into your HSA year after year, you're going to want to pull out for medical expenses. But take it from me, you'll be better off in the long run if you don't pull out. Now, with that being said, let's get right into the video. So first things first, what exactly is an HSA, or a health savings account? Well, it's an account that holds your money. And that is exactly what it is. It's up to you guys to invest in low-cost index funds or mutual funds to get the investment return that I'm talking about. And yes, this title is not a lie. This is a triple tax advantaged account, which means you're going to contribute pre-tax dollars, your money's going to grow tax-free, and as long as it's used for qualified medical expenses in the future, it's going to be tax-free then as well. So if you start young, you can grow this account beyond $1 million 100% tax-free, which is pretty amazing. Now, for my example, if you were to invest for 35 years using the 2023 annual contribution limit for a family of $77.50, and you invested in some low-cost index funds that gave you a conservative return of 7%, you would end up with over $1 million. But this is just one example. You could invest for longer depending on how young you start. You might have less time. Typically, we're going to see the annual contribution limits increase. And also, when you reach age of 55, you can start doing catch-up contributions. So like I said, that was just one specific example that helps with the title. Now, one other thing I do have to say is an HSA is not available for everyone. You have to qualify to have an HSA. And by doing that, you need to have a high deductible health plan and you need to not be enrolled in Medicare. So keep that in mind. But typically your employer should have a couple different options when it comes to health insurance, and one of them may be an HDHP plan. They'll typically have lower premiums as well, but with that you do have to pay more money up front when it comes to your medical expenses. But I believe for the average family or the average person that is healthy, you will do better in the long run by taking advantage of the HSA. But to get the most benefit out of this video specifically, you're going to be stockpiling all that money into your investment account, and you're going to be paying for your medical expenses outside of the account until retirement. Now, you don't have to do that. You could take money out if you need it. I'm just saying that's the best way to get the best return for your dollar. I would prioritize investing in the HSA before the Roth or before a traditional IRA or even a 401k, because it is those things fused together. It has the best of all those worlds. Technically, an HSA turns into a 401k after the age of 65, and I will talk about that later on. But let's get into the 5 benefits of the HSA. The first one is going to be the tax advantages. So what I mean by this is if you already paid taxes and you were paid and you want to contribute to your HSA, you can put the money in, and when you go to pay taxes at the end of the year, you're going to owe less money. Whatever money you contributed is going to be pre-tax dollars, and you do not owe taxes on that, so you will get refunded. If you're in the maximum tax bracket for an individual paying 37% federal taxes, you're going to save over $1,000 in taxes at the end of the year by contributing to your HSA. So this is a large savings when it comes to your money. Now, I already mentioned it is triple tax advantage, so once it's in the account and it's invested and it's growing, you don't have to worry about the taxes, and as long as you're using the money for qualified medical expenses, you're not going to pay taxes when you pull it out, which is where it differs from the traditional IRA or the 401k. Benefit number 2, you are going to have lower insurance premiums. Your high deductible health plans tend to be a lot cheaper on a monthly basis when you compare them to other options. So not only are you going to be saving on taxes, but you're going to be paying less for insurance in general. Now, you're going to have to make sure that it fits your family based on how healthy you guys are, and things could always pop up, but at the end of the day, I think that you'll be surprised that you might actually do better when it comes to choosing a high deductible health plan. My company actually gives me specific examples of, let's say you're planning on having a kid or you have a family of 3. It gives all these different examples of how much money you would save or spend more by having each different type of insurance plan. So that's something you're going to have to do your own research on. And the best part is if you're 100% healthy and you don't go to the doctors at all, you're not spending any money at all. You're just saving all that money. A lot of times your employer will give you either an employer match or a big lump sum up front, that will be free money. You can't complain about that. Now, benefit number 3, your money within your HSA works for you. So if you are using that money for all of your medical expenses and you're not investing it, technically you're still getting an advantage with those lower premiums, and you're also saving money on taxes. However, you may be taking out half of it and then refusing to touch the other half and investing that. So that money is going to grow for you. So all of your money is growing because it rolls over year after year. Even when you separate from an employer, whether you get a new job or you left, whatever the reason is, that money is your money. Now, the 4th benefit is something that I've been talking about the entire time, and that is the ability to invest the money. So I would typically choose a low-cost index fund, something that mirrors the S&P 500. Other people may want to mirror the entire stock market. That's going to be up to you guys and your own personal decision. Do your own research. But at the end of the day, remember, the HSA is just the account, like I mentioned. It's up to you guys to take the funds within that and invest it. And the brokerage that you have your HSA in is going to give you that opportunity. Although, depending on which brokerage you have, your options may be limited. So you may want to think about rolling over your HSA into a different company if you don't like the options, or if you don't like how much they charge you to manage those funds. So keep that in mind, because some do charge monthly fees just for having an HSA. I have an HSA with Fidelity and they don't charge any fees, so I like Fidelity. And now the last benefit of the HSA is that you get to use it how you want to use it. So if you want to amass a large portion of your wealth and really set yourself up for success in the future, then don't spend a single penny within that account until you retire. Invest it, let it grow long term, and then pay out of pocket for your medical expenses. If you don't want to do that, then take your free money from your company and pay for your medical expenses. That's completely fine. If you went with option 1 and you've amassed a large portion of wealth, well, it may help you to know that typically in retirement, the average couple spends around $300,000 in medical expenses until they end up passing away. So if you have $1 million account within your HSA, you may think, maybe I want to spend $500,000 of this on something other than medical expenses. Well, if you're not 65, you would typically pay a 20% penalty and have to pay income taxes. However, after age 65, you can take that money out and use it for whatever you want, not qualified medical expenses, and you will not pay that 20% penalty. You will, however, owe ordinary income tax, so keep that in mind. But if that's what you want to do, maybe you have a lot of money, you want to use some for medical, some you want to just treat it as a traditional IRA, completely up to you. The money is yours, take advantage of it. So now that I've gone over the 5 benefits of the HSA, I want to go over some frequently asked questions. I want to make these quick questions with quick answers. So if you want something more in depth or you have more questions, leave them down in the comments below. I do my best to answer all comments on all of my videos. But let's get right into it. Are there any income limits on an HSA for contributions? No. So it doesn't matter if you make $1 million a year or $50,000 a year, there are no income limits. Do you have to make RMDs, or required minimum distributions, like a 401k? No, you do not have to make RMDs. When you die, it will go on to your beneficiary. So it is up to you when you guys want to spend that money. At what age can you withdraw without that 20% penalty if not being used for qualified medical expenses? Well, I already answered this, and that is at age 65. So at age 65, you can treat that account like a 401k and just pay ordinary income tax. The next one is a big one. Do employer contributions count towards the annual maximum? Yes, they do. So if the annual maximum in 2023 for an individual is $3,850 and your company gives you $1,000, then you can only contribute $2,850 towards your HSA. So keep that in mind. If I switch jobs, what happens to my HSA? Absolutely nothing. It is your account to use as you wish. You will take it with you to the next company. If they have a different plan for their HSA, you can always transfer money however you want to work it. How long can I contribute to an HSA? Great question. Typically it's going to be 65, but if you are not enrolled in Medicare and you are beyond the age of 65, you can continue to contribute to your HSA. What if I'm 50 years old and I haven't started my HSA, but I want to start today? More power to you. Awesome. Do it. As soon as you reach age 55, you can start doing catch-up contributions, which allow you to contribute more than the annual maximum for everyone else. So take advantage of those. It doesn't matter if you started investing 20 years ago. If you can start today, then start today. Can I contribute after December 31st for that year? So for example, if it's 2022, December 31st, and I haven't hit my maximum, can I contribute in 2023 towards my previous year? Yes, you can. You have up until the tax deadline. So typically you'll have until April of the following year to contribute for the previous year. Now that was just a quick list of frequently asked questions that I figured would help out. But like I said, if you have more, leave them in the comments down below. Now to finish off this video, I want to go over those 2 pro tips I mentioned. The first pro tip is going to be document everything. Keep all of your receipts, whether you're paying out of pocket or you're paying with your HSA card or you've requested a reimbursement, because you never know when you're going to need it. Take a picture of it, save it as a PDF, save it on an external hard drive or your PC, however you want to keep them, but keep the receipts. The second pro tip is going to come from that, and that is if in the future you had paid for everything out of pocket and you want to start taking distributions and you don't want to pay taxes, you're not 65 yet, you don't want to pay that 20% penalty, you can actually request reimbursements for previous year's medical expenses. As long as you incurred the expense when you were eligible for an HSA, you can request that money in the future. So if you're using the account in the future, like I mentioned in retirement, and you have more than you think you're going to need for medical expenses, maybe if you had been saving all of your receipts, you could start requesting reimbursements and save even more money on taxes if you're treating it like a 401k, but you're getting that extra tax advantage. So that's something that not a lot of people know about, but it is actually pretty cool. Now with that said, we have come to the end of the video. I hope you got something out of it. If you're still watching the video, do me a favor, smash the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. We do weekly videos on anything related to personal finance or fitness. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care.